Hey guys, Dave from Timber Time Outdoors. In this video, we are going to talk about the 2023 Polaris General. So stay with us, guys. All right, guys, let's get right to it. So in this video, we're going to do three things. Number one, we're going to do a walk around. So I'm just going to kind of give you a general overview of this machine. We're going to walk around, talk about its features. Then we are going to talk about, kind of my interpretation of the vehicle. I did rent it for a day. And so I'm going to give you kind of like 5 or 6 things I like and some things that I may be a little bit critical about. And then lastly, we are going to show you just some incredible footage of the Bighorn Mountains. We are on top of Sheep's Mountain here right now, and just amazing scenery. So might not be in that order, but that's the plan for this video. All right, I'm gonna grab the camera and do a walk around here. Just kind of talk about some of the things that, come with this machine. So this is a 64-inch wide machine. You can see the stance there. It's got the high ground clearance A-arms. I guess they call them pre-bent A-arms. It's got Walker Evans shocks. Comes with a winch, comes with a front camera. Decent tires. I really do like these tires. They're kind of a all-terrain mud tire. They do really well on the highway. They did great in the mud. They have kind of a strange tread pattern. They're different from the front to the back, but I'm told you can rotate them. Hazel loves this machine, by the way. So this is the XP, and this is the ultimate version. It does have stereo. It's got ride command, which I'm a big fan of. Generally speaking, this is, kind of a shorter wheelbase machine. And, it's kind of that in-betweener. It's not really a work machine. It's not really a trail machine. I would tell you this thing does fantastic on the trails. You can see it does have the dump box and the tailgate. I had a machine like this a couple years ago. I can reference that video, and it was the Yamaha Wolverine, and we since sold that machine. I actually sold it to buy a tractor, and so we're kind of back in the market here, and this is one of them on my short list, and I'm a big fan so far. It's been just wonderful out on the trail. It's quiet, very smooth, comes with a roof. Full doors. This one's got the radio on it, of course. All right, that's the exterior. Let's jump inside and show you some of the interior features. I will start with the seats. Very, very comfortable. They're firm. They got good bolstering. In terms of, competition, I would say this is one of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in. Very car-like, and I would say in general, no pun intended, the General is very car-like inside. Some side-by-sides have, race car type cockpit type of thing, and this one here this is a lot like our Jeep Wrangler. It's got a center console, it's got the shifter in the middle, it's got some little cubbies. The ride command is awesome. It's got cameras and all kinds of information. It's got navigation. And I know you can get that stuff, with other apps and this kinds of thing, but it's just really nice to have it built in. I love the analog gauges. It's also got digital too. And this is one of my favorite features right here. This is turf mode. And you think about, well, I'm never going to be on turf, but you know what it does really well is on the pavement. It doesn't hop when you turn, and some machines have a tendency to, kind of fight the wheels. So that turf mode is actually great for when you're on blacktop. It's got the winch control, glove box. I'd say storage-wise, it's probably average when it comes to these machines. There's a console here. I can figure out how to open it. Cup holders. Won't accommodate the great big water jugs, but does just fine for coffee mugs. So this one came with a mirror. It's got a roof. It's got speakers inside. Pedal-wise, very comfortable down below. So from an interior perspective, I'd say it's great. One of my favorite features about it is that you can see over the dash. You can see, obstacles coming your way. You sit up kind of high in this machine. And, you can't say that about all of them. A lot of them, you're kind of laid back and in position to go super fast. If you're a sightseer like we are, looking at stuff like that, it's nice to be kind of pitched forward a little bit and to be able to see better. All right, well, let's jump out of this machine, although I've got Lapdog here. Hazel really likes this thing, by the way. So if you're a sightseer and you got a little foof of a dog, I think Hazel would approve. We had her actually sitting up here, put her little bed up there, and she did great. So let's jump out of this thing. I'm a pretty big fan of this particular machine. My wife and I are sightseers, and so I'm kind of looking for something that can, do the roads, do the trails, and was looking for something smooth. And everybody buys the great big razors and those kinds of machines, but, I was quite surprised at how well this machine did on some of the bumps. It'll do 70 miles an hour, and it's been incredibly smooth for what it is. It's not really a trail machine, but I'll tell you what, it's done fantastic on the trail so far. So from here, I think we will show you some scenery, some action shots of the machine, and then we'll wrap up with some of my thoughts, what I like, what I don't like. Let's talk about 5 things that I like about this machine. Number one, well, first of all, when you're looking to buy a UTV, there are 3 things that these UTVs are kind of known for that are annoying. And number 1 is they're hot inside. Number 2 is they're loud. And number 3, they can be super bumpy on the trails. And those are the 3 things that I actually really like about this machine. It's relatively quiet. I know that, you can get headphones and these kinds of things, but compared to some of the other machines, it's a pretty quiet machine. It handles the bumps very well. It exceeded my expectations in that regard. And then as far as like interior heat, now I have to tell you, it's about 50 degrees out here right now. We're at 10,000 feet or something. And so, take this with a grain of salt, but there is absolutely no interior heat coming out of that engine. The previous machine that we had, that Yamaha Wolverine, was very hot inside, and we had to constantly play with the windshield. This one doesn't seem to have that. When you put your hand down by the motor, you don't feel that heat. I do love how you sit up high in this machine. Now, if you're looking to go super fast, you might not like that riding position, but I love the riding position in this thing. It's very car-like. And then lastly, I know this machine is not typically a trail machine or known as a trail machine, but I think it did absolutely fantastic on the trails. I mean, we went on some very bumpy terrain. It smooths things out. In fact, the faster you go, the smoother this machine gets. So those are kind of my top 5 likes. Now let's talk about some things that I think they could do better. All right. Having a very hard time finding things I don't like about the machine, but there are a few. Statistically, there are 2 things I don't like about this machine. Number 1 is the weight. And when you get in this class of vehicle, they're all going to weigh about the same, between 1,500 and 17, maybe even 1,800 pounds. Polaris's new line, the Expedition, is over 2,000 pounds. The reason I don't like this heavy weight of a machine is I need to triple tow or double tow this machine, and so weight is very important to me. Again, that's not going to be important to everybody. Just know that this is about 1,600, 1,700 pound machine. I'm not a huge fan of that. The other stat I don't like how tall this machine is. I like to put a side-by-side in an enclosed trailer. This machine will not fit in any enclosed trailer that I'm aware of. So you can get a chopped roof. You can buy that. It's $1,500. I get it. But to me, you do not need, unless you're 6'7", you do not need this roof to be that high. And so I wish Polaris would change that. So those are 2 things I don't like about the statistics of the machine. On the interior of this machine, you can always be critical here and you can always do it better, but there are some space things that I hope the next generation of this machine fixes. One is cup holders. I always hear that in cars. The cup holders. The cup holders in this machine, there's only 2 and they're very small. And so, when you're up in the altitude, you're constantly drinking water and you want a great big jug. It just won't accommodate that. And then it has this very strange open space right under the dash. I'll kind of overlay that here. I don't know, maybe you can buy some netting to utilize that space, but it just seems like a huge waste. Really that's it. I'm a big fan. I actually really like this. It's on my short list to make a purchase. Right now it's number 1, but I want to look at some other machines. Can-Am makes some good stuff, I know. Yamaha as well, Honda. So guys, we'll wrap this video up. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something about the Polaris General that was helpful to you. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, send it to your friends, and remember, keep it in the timber. Bye-bye.